Hi and welcome to Nelson for this edition of the Rugby World Cup Daily. Nelson hosted the Pool C match between Italy and Russia, but before the game, a match of historical significance was played, a reenactment of the first ever game of rugby played in New Zealand. The day began as it always should, with a hearty breakfast. The setting, the Nelson Rugby Club. A very special day for not only Nelson but the Nelson Rugby Club.
Well, it's probably an opportunity for Nelson not only to showcase Nelson to the world, but the Nelson Rugby Club, which we are very proud of as being the first rugby club in New Zealand, and we put a lot of time, effort and energy into sort of creating an environment where this day could really go off in a big way for the locals and also all the guests that were coming in. We're trying to get into period costume for the day. They've taken it very seriously, and Canterbury, I believe, has made a special jersey and knickerbocker pants, so that, and the sort of long stocking things that the players will be all wearing from both sides.
And I noticed that they're taking a traditional approach to the pre-match diet as well. Yeah,
well, I'm not too sure whether they had hash browns in back there in the 1870s.
So, with full stomachs, attention shifted to the steps of Nelson Cathedral, where 1,200 students from Nelson College performed their school haka to an enthusiastic audience. Now to a man who definitely knows how to lead a haka, Buck Shelford.
Here's your chance to have a chat with me. Simply by using Twitter or Facebook, you can ask me any rugby question that you always wanted to. You know I'll always have something to say, so join the conversation now. I just love watching the young players achieve. When you actually coach a person or a group of guys to do certain things on the rugby field, and then all of a sudden you see it happen and it just clicks and they've achieved what you set out to do, and they come up to you after the game and said, hey, that worked.
Back in Nelson, and with the townsfolk dressed for the occasion, everyone stepped back in time to 1870, when the Nelson Club and Nelson College played the first ever game of rugby in New Zealand. The same rules, on the same field, just as it was over 140 years ago.
Just fantastic. It's been about a year and probably a year and a half in us thinking about it, deciding that we wanted to do the reenactment, and then it just snowballed. It became the biggest World Cup event in Nelson, and obviously the community came out. We wanted the whole school involved, 1,200 boys, so logistical nightmare at times, but fantastic. We've had a few practices together, thought out which rules you could use from 1870. It's very much a kicking, catching game, and scrums and long. We wanted people to see something quite different, but we'd also be able to see a bit of a spectacle as well. So, and same with the uniforms. It took us a long time to decide, just what was historically accurate, but also would add a bit of extra spice, like the old crest from the 1900s. So it still gave us that authenticity, but also again a spectacle for the community.
Among the huge crowd enjoying the day were members of the Italian team, not required for the evening's fixture.
For me, this is the first time I see this game. Usually I look in the book, and look in the live, it's very nice. And, Nelson, I think, has organized a very good idea and very good atmosphere.
And in today's only World Cup match, the Nick Mallet-coached Italy needed to secure a bonus point win over Russia to keep their slim chances alive of a quarter-final berth. And they did just that, with an impressive 53-17 win.
Our play was so very good tonight, but I'm glad that we have some tries. This is the first tries of Russia team in this tournament. I think that next games we'll have more tries, but we want to thank people who invite us.
We are really happy to the victory. We take 5 points. Was very important for us to trying to have a chance to qualify. This Russian team play a very physical game. They scored 3 tries. That is very good for them, and you know we are really happy for the victory. But we must continue to improve, especially in defense.
With the win over Russia, Italy sit 3rd in Pool C, behind Australia on points differential, whilst Ireland are out on their own on top. The USA will want at least a bonus point when they take on the Aussies in Wellington this Friday, and the Russians have it all ahead of them with their remaining games against Ireland and the Wallabies. An amazing day in Nelson, with the best of rugby's past and present on display. Tomorrow on the Rugby World Cup Daily, we recap the important Pool A match between Tonga and Japan. Plus we find out how the IRB plans to build on the impressive performances of the second tier nations at this Rugby World Cup. We'll see you then.